Never do anything. That's stupid.
Yeah. Today we'll be making some bread later on today, so I want to start with my own flour. If you buy flour in the store, they start with the whole grain and they remove all the goodness, the bran, the middlings, the wheat germ, and the wheat germ oil. They bleach it then, and then you turn out with just normal white flour, and all the goodness is gone. So I like to start with my own. This here is a grain mill, and it can grind into flour, simply adjusting it. I'm going today though use the assistant to do my milling. So I'm going to remove the bowl. And to use the assistant, you have to turn it on its side. Attach the attachments. These attachments here to make it for the grain mill to work. You can also use the Bosch, which is here, and also the KitchenAid attachment. So it's very universal. So by adding the attachment, oh, might have to go just a little bit further. There we go. Attachment's on, and I'll just remove this here. I've got to be careful. I have some grain in here already, some oats. Don't want to make a mess. And there it is. The assistant has a variable speed, and it's also a soft start. So when you turn it on, you'll notice that it doesn't. Oh, I better put the bowl under here and make a mess. It has a soft start before it starts grinding, and you can set the speed. The faster you want to go. It also has a timer. If you want to walk away from it, you can set the timer. By adjusting right here, you can make finer flour, as you can see. And I'll speed this up now.
The other one. The other one.
Oh, sorry. I'm on the wrong button.
So you said you grind your own flour. Why did you grind your own flour, or what's the advantage?
It's my healthy choice. Cost savings. Also with the flour, if you take 1 cup of grain, you actually get 2 cups of flour. Quite a savings and very healthy. One nice thing about the grain mill system is that it doesn't heat your flour as it grinds it. So you don't lose any of the nutrients because of it. We've created a lot of flour here. Almost done. Now that we've completed grinding our flour, we're going to get ready to make the bread. So I'm going to remove all the mill here, simply by undoing this here, removing it. Stand the assistant back up. I'll just grab my bowl. The bowl simply installs right onto here. This bowl will make enough dough to make 8 to 10 loaves of bread, which is quite a bit, I think. And the attachments for this here, we have 3. We have a roller, we have the knife, and we have the dough hook. I prefer to use the roller in conjunction with the knife. You do not use the knife with the dough hook. So they attach quite simply. You pull this out, tighten up your adjustment knob, pull this pin up, install the dough pin. You want to keep the dough roller right tight when you start off, and then as your dough starts to build, you want to move it away about 1 centimeter to 2 centimeters away. The knife attaches right here and becomes adjustable. And we'll make some bread. Okay, so with the bread recipe that I use, I always start with my liquids first, so I'll start with my water. And the water, of course, has to be at a no more than 105 degrees, and right now we're running at And it's still climbing 98 degrees, which is a perfect temperature for making bread. So we're going to add the water into the mixer. Oh. And what I have here is my oil and my honey mixture. The honey and the oil is put together so that it cleans out, the honey comes out of the beaker better, or a mixing cup. I like honey. And then eggs at room temperature. And what we're going to do now is start the roller at a low speed and then start adding our flour, which we're going to use half of our flour, and our machine will tell us when we're ready to add the rest of the stuff in, or when we're ready to add more flour. We don't need to know the actual measurement of flour. We're going to try to get up to a pancake type consistency. Alright, we'll start adding some flour now.
Go ahead. You do it now.
As you can see, it's getting thicker and thicker. When we hit that pancake mix type consistency, we'll start adding some of our other ingredients. Okay, so now that we've got about half of our flour mixed up, we're going to go ahead and add our yeast into the mix, and some powdered milk, and we're going to let this sponge sit after it's mixed for about 20 minutes to half an hour, and then we'll add the rest of our flour and salt. Okay, so now that we've let our sponge sit for about 25 minutes, we're just going to finish mixing the rest of our flour in. So I'll just tamp this down just a little bit if I can. If I can't, I'll just turn the mixer on slow and see if I can get it to mix. As you can see, our yeast is very active. And I'll turn the mixer on a nice low speed. And right away it starts to head down. So I'll add the rest of our flour. And what we're going to do is add flour now until the dough leaves the rim of the bowl and starts to form a donut around the roller. And then finally, after we get the consistency that we're looking for, we'll add the salt, as the salt inhibits the yeast. So the salt will be the last thing that we add. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. As you can see now, the dough is starting to leave the side of the bowl. It's starting to create a donut around the roller. If I push the roller, you can see it doing that, moving with it. It's still a bit sticky. We're just going to have to add just a little bit more flour to it. Finally, I'm going to add the salt, which it does, it deactivates the yeast and adds some flavor. And then following this, now we just let it knead for about 10 minutes to activate the gluten. Just a touch more flour there. Pulling away nicely, and it's creating this donut. Oop. Yeah, it's turning really nice. Now that we've mixed all our ingredients here, we're just going to set our timer for 10 minutes and knead the dough to activate our gluten. So there's 10 minutes right there. Alright, so now that our dough is sat for 10 minutes and rested, we're now going to remove the bowl, all the attachments, and start to get our dough ready to make loaves. So here we go. I'll pull this out, undo this here attachment, pull that over there, out of the way, I got it now. And that's some good looking bread right there. And a knife.
See, what this has is the instructions.
Now, so our bread,
Yeah.
or our dough I mean.
Sushi flavor.
So contrary to what your grandmother used to tell you, we don't want flour to touch our dough. What it does is it makes your bread flaky when you after you bake it. So we use extra virgin olive oil. So I'll just put some on the table here, some on my hands, spread this around.
This one just for the little jar because it has the same amount as in the envelope. So when this is empty, I can buy a couple of envelopes and just put one.
And then we'll just pull the dough out.
You have to.
Just gonna get in there.
So you can't put it in a pot, you just put it in a pot. It's rice vinegar that it makes that good tasting.
And
Whatever else.
there it is.
Rice, water, rice.
Pot empty. And we'll just let this rest a little bit, and just to relax the dough.
Preparing all the vegetables.
Okay, so now that our dough has relaxed, we're going to go ahead and start breaking it into loaves. I like to weigh my loaves so they're all in equal amounts of dough, so they cook evenly in the oven, so I don't have one loaf that's undercooked. So we'll go ahead now. What you want to do, of course, is pinch the dough. You don't want to rip the dough apart because it destroys the gluten. So we're going to pinch.
And I'll get out the mandolin and shred the cabbage really fine and saute it with bean sprouts. And I would like to have some shrimp. Some of the other ones, you'll have to peel them. in with that, so. I have lots of it.
And I'll divide these into 6.
Little bits after we peel them and put them into the bean sprouts and the different
Okay.
pieces of lot.
Okay, I've divided these into 6 loaves right now. I'm going to go ahead and weigh some of them and see where I'm at. I can tell visually that I'm out quite a bit. This one here is 845 grams of dough. And one of the smaller ones here, I'll just show you the difference. And so that was 845. This is 589. 100 grams back to the other one. To the smaller one, probably make it right, and I'll get some even cooking. So now I'm going to go ahead and pinch a little bit of dough off of this one here and put it into this one and go ahead and knead it back into it. And go ahead and weigh. And now we're just under 700, 696.
Okay.
Okay, so I've started cutting my my dough into loaves. What I've done, I've gone ahead and sprayed some vegetable oil inside each one of the pans so it doesn't stick. And I've divided all my dough into equal weights. So I'm going to go ahead and knead the dough. You want to try to knead with your palm of your hand, and you can feel the gluten starting to stiffen up the dough. Then you can just roll it out, and you want the dough to reach the edges of the pan. So this one here might have to be rolled out a little bit more. Throw it in there. And so if you're like myself, you don't necessarily have to eat all your bread all at once. You know, you want it to last so it doesn't go bad. You can go ahead. You can go ahead and split your loaf in half and knead it again. And always put your seam down when you put it in the pan, and make into equal loaves. Easy to break apart and easy to put away. Okay, so we've gone ahead now and divided our dough into our loaves, and what I'm going to do now is go ahead and I'm going to spray a little bit of oil on top of the loaves. What it does is it makes the crust softer. If you wanted a stiffer crust, you would spray some water on it. So I'm just spraying just a light little coating of oil. And the other little trick that I've been taught through the years is if I take a knife, I can put little slices in the dough. And what it does is not only does it give it a design in the dough, but it also helps the dough rise. So I'm just going ahead now and putting little cuts in it, little slices, make it aesthetically pleasing. How's that? Big words. Alright, now that that is completed, we're going to go ahead and move the dough into a warm place where we'll then cover it with saran wrap and let it rest for about an hour until the dough doubles in size, and it'll be ready for baking.
Okay.
Okay, so we've preheated our oven now to 450. It's come up to degrees to the proper temperature. If you look at the loaves, they've risen completely, And so we're going ahead and taking off the saran wrap carefully so we don't want our loaves to fall. So that's another reason why we oiled the tops of them, so that we don't make our loaves fall. And then the next step, of course, is to throw them in the oven. And what we're going to do is we're cooking on a high temperature so that we excite the yeast, by making the steam. And the steam excites the yeast. We're going to move on and throw that in there for about 10 minutes at 450, and then we'll turn down the oven and cook for another half hour on about 375. Hmm. 10 minutes later, we're going to turn down the temperature to 375 and cook for another half an hour. Okay, so we've finished cooking our loaves. We've had them in the oven for approximately 40 minutes altogether. We're going to take a little thermometer here now and stick it in the loaf of bread. And where we want it to be is an internal temperature of somewhere between 180 to 190 degrees. And I can see right now that the internal of our bread we're cooked all the way through. So we're going ahead now and remove our loaves. Oh, they look nice and golden brown. And go ahead and shake these out. Woohoo! These gloves are a little bit slippery for me. And there we have 6 wonderful loaves of bread. If you choose to, you can cover them with butter or a little bit of oil or anything to make them shiny if you prefer. I like my crust the way it is. Alright, so my loaves have finished setting for a while, and we're going to open them up and just check out the texture. I think I'll just cut right in half right off the bat. Just show you what I got here. Nice and springy. There's the texture inside. Ooh, that's good. And I'll slice off a couple slices. I like big slices. You like big slices?
Yes.
Yeah.
However it comes.
And go for the nice taste test. A little bit of fresh butter.
It smells good.
Looks wonderful.
Whoop. My arm. Could almost eat this without the butter.
Yes.
It's so flaky. Very nice. See that? One for you and one for you. Let me know what you think.
This is delicious.
It's yummy.
Very delicious.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Cook Shop.
Thank you, Cook Shop. Delicious.